Good evening, everyone. To be completely honest with you guys, wasn't expecting to go live tonight. Wasn't expecting to go live again, period. I seriously contemplated shutting down my channel today. Personal life is taking quite a beating, if I'm being completely honest. And my fuse is way shorter than it ever has been. So I actually have a draft in my that I was going to post this on my community section and then just go radio silent. And honestly, what stopped me from doing it was to be completely honest, a very positive interaction with the band LFO from last weekend. I posted about it. Not only did they give me cue cards for everything along with the set list, they gave me a little introduction page, a little cue sheet as far as how they like each song mix, because I really only knew Summer Girls and maybe one other song on this, apart from the medleys that they played. And they gave me a thank you note with an autograph at the end of it from Brad. But they went one step beyond. They got me this card, which this side, not really anything. But Brad wrote a handwritten note that says, "Thanks so much for all your hard work today. We appreciate your time and talent. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me honor Rich and Devin, the two members of the band that passed away." Handwritten card at the end of it. And that was such a good interaction. I reminded myself of how good of an interaction that was. I did not press post on the I quit post that I was going to post today. And since there's only a tiny bit of you watching between Rumble and YouTube, I haven't posted in in like over a week, so the algorithm's not doing its thing anymore. I was ready to just say fuck it. So, okay. Who knows? Who honestly knows what I'm going to do? I'm still teetering because, well, it's I don't need to explain why. There's just a lot of shit going on. And since no one's basically watching this right now, why do I do this? But I want to finish what I started. I have a couple things I need to finish. So I'll at least keep going for that. And that includes finishing this mix. So let's get into it. I've had a couple days almost a week now to take a listen to the mix sound of this song. If you missed what's been going on with this mix, we recorded this in a basement in 2016, and because I had such a heavy hand with producing of how this song's arranged and orchestrated, I'm jokingly calling this my magnum opus producing credit. So let's take a listen to where we are. I have notes right here on my phone of things I've heard while listening to this in the car, on big speakers, on small speakers, Bluetooth, whatever, even on my phone itself. So I have notes of three major things I want to address, but I think we should refresh our memory, and let's take a listen to the song from the top as it is from the last time that we touched it.
Sooner or
Okay, so right out of the gate, it sounds fucking awesome. Like, I played this in the car, and it levels wise, balance between the high end, the low end, the mid range, everything sounded pretty much on the money where I wanted. There's just a couple things that are just a little louder where they should be, or a little quieter where they should be. And there's a couple of things I want to address. So first things first, the first thing I want to address, this guitar in the in the verses. It's too loud. It's distracting from the from the main guitar. So what we need to do with this is just turn it down in volume a little bit. Like everything, just turn it down. Let's bring it down to -10. That is much better. The next thing I want to address is with the backing vocals, specifically the end of the chorus backing vocal, where everyone's shouting. It all comes out with the way you seal your fate, whatever. I don't even know the fucking lyric off the top of my head. It all comes down to the way you see your fate. Okay. So I want this, and we labeled it right here, shouting back vox. What I want to do is I want to put a fucking repeater on it. And I only wanted to activate at the very end on the word fate. And I want this to be over the top crazy with feedback. Because I want it to just extend as much as possible. Because I think it just needs a little bit more of that. So what I think I only want it for the first chorus, though. I don't want it for the rest of the choruses, because at the end, in the second and the third choruses, it goes straight into the bridge part, with the what I labeled the cool gain vox, keep it temperature, that stuff. So I only wanted to activate on this word right here, fate. So let me bring this all the way down here. Bypass it again. And now I just match the tempo. Where's the main vocal? Delay, repeater. You know what? Let me just copy that because this is silly. Why would I try to tap out the tempo again when it's right there already? But I'm just going to crank the feedback. And that's that.
It all comes down to the way you see your face. It all comes down to the way you see your face. You see your face. You see your face.
I may have to adjust the volume. I may need to do something else other than have it biased. Because if it's gonna glitch like that, I don't want to okay. Okay. I may just put this on its own bus. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. $29 buses that I'm using. Now I just put this over here. Now I could just control the volume with this. Bus 26. Okay.
It all comes down to the way you see face.
Yeah. Let's like crank the feedback. Let's go 90% feedback.
It all comes down to the way you see your face. It all comes.
Okay, 90 might have been a little too much.
It all comes down to the way you see your face. It all comes down to the way you see your face.
Okay. Let's start with around minus 4 dB for automation. There we go.
It all comes down to the way you see your face. see your fate. It all comes down to the way you see your fate. It all comes down to the way you see your fate.
Fuck it, let's try it with 100% feedback.
It all comes down to the way you see your fate.
That's fucking nuts. Let's try 85%. That's crazy.
It all comes down to the way you see your fate. It all comes down to the way you see your fate.
Bring it down to 2. Let's listen at very low volume. Let's try 3 because like it's still just slightly distracting if it's that. It is literally like the difference between just right and off is like half or 1 dB at this point. That's it right there. -3 is a magic number.
It all comes down to the way you see your fate.
That's it. Okay. That's good. That problem's taken care of. Next, I made a note that as much as I'm loving the gain vocals that we did, just slightly too loud. Slightly, but it's too loud.
Don't sit there saying that you know the way. 'Cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my grudge, let me out, sing me a song. But sooner or later, don't sit there saying that you know the way. 'Cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my grudge, let me out, sing me a song. But sooner or later, it all comes down to the way you see your fate.
Yeah, that's good. And then at the very end, these, so tell me who are you? These can be brought down just a literal cunt hair right there. These what I labeled the cool part gain vocal, those are okay, but the final touch vocal level wise, but first before I do that, the overheads need to come out and pop a little bit more. So let's adjust the overheads a little bit.
stations of the cross. Your entire bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross. Don't sit there saying that you know the way, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. Take my grave, drag me up, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all comes down to the way you see your fate. Your entire bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross. Don't sit there saying that you know the way, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. Take my grave, drag me up, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all your entire bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross. Don't sit there saying that you know the way, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. Take my grave, drag me up, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all comes down to the way you see your fate.
All right, that's better. And the final thing I want to do was at the very end, these other guitar parts. We already have the kick, the snare, the bass, the main vocal, and we have the other chorus guitar going pan center. These can be panned a little more to the left or right to give a little bit more width. So what I'm going to do with that, I'm not going to pan them hard left and right, but I'm going to make them pretty much almost hard left and right.
Keep talking, Johnny.
Yeah, that's a humongous wall of guitars right there. That sounds awesome. All right, let's listen to my changes. Everything else is fantastic, so I'm happy with everything else. I'm happy with the levels. I just want to listen to the parts that I fucked with just now. I'm gonna listen at low volume, and then I'll bring it up to full blast.
This town ain't big enough to get exactly what you want. My feelings are, but my skin's so cold. And indecision's making me feel. My bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross. Don't sit there saying that you know the way. 'Cause mommy did this all to yourself. Take my breath, check me out, sing me a song. But sooner or later, it all comes down to the way you see your fate.
The more I think about it, the more I think the rhythm guitar needs a tiny bit of reverb too. 30 buses I have now used in this session. 30. And let's bring this pre-fader 0, bring this to guitar bus 3. Let's bring the volume up.
This town ain't big enough to get exactly what you want. My feelings are, but my skin. This town ain't big enough to get exactly what you want. My feelings are, but my skin's so cold. And indecision's making me feel less like a man. Mama, can you see your entire bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross? Don't say
Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome now. I'm very happy with that. Let's go to mixed bus processing. I'm ready for mixed bus processing to be the final step in this. Save. Now let's do it. SSL, native bus comp. That auto, stick with 2 to 1.
Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my crown, drop me off, sing me a song, and sooner or later, it all comes down to the way you see your face. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my crown, drop me off, sing me a song, but sooner or later, it all comes down to the way you see your face. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my crown, drop me off, sing me a song, but sooner or later, it all comes down to the way you see your face. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Keep talking, Johnny. Don't sit there saying that you know me well, your faith. Keep talking, Johnny.
Okay. This might just be done. Let's listen to it at full volume from the top.
This town ain't big enough to get exactly what you want. My feelings are, but my skin's so cold. And indecision's making me feel less like a man. Mama, can you see your entire bloodline bows down to the stations of the cross? Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my pride, drag me out, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all comes down to the way you see your face. So pop it tonight, rest your eyes and your mind. I'm coming on, but just a little bit stronger. You see, we're moving on up to the east side, standing our ground, and we'll keep on telling them we'll finally have a piece of the pie. It's a style that we'll maintain. So tell me, who are you? Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my pride, drag me out, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all comes down to the way you see your face. Keep it tapping, Johnny. Ah, Johnny this time. Keep it tapping, Johnny. Ah, Johnny this time. Comes crumbling down. Don't sit there saying that you know me well, 'cause mommy did this all to yourself. You take my pride, drag me out, sing me a song, but sooner or later it all comes down to the way you see your face. Keep it tapping, Johnny. Ah, Johnny this time. Keep it tapping, Johnny. Ah, Johnny this time. Keep it tapping, Johnny. Ah, Johnny this time. Keep it tapping, Johnny.
I'm very happy that it took me this long to do this, because that sounds awesome. I tired my ears out already tonight. I really tired the shit out of my ears tonight. Already with that. My monitors were fucking loud. Yeah, that sounds fucking enormous. That sounds really good. Yeah, I'm catching up on the few chats that we got tonight with how I opened up the stream tonight. No, I mean, full disclosure, like there's a lot of bullshit going on, with family shit. It's not like I'm having a depressy Bessie moment. It's literally like, actually, maybe it's depressy Bessie, but it's currently being masked by anger management skills that are beyond Incredible Hulk level. Like I'm by the skin of my teeth. And my teeth aren't that good in the first place because I didn't take care of them as a kid. By the skin of what's left of my teeth, I am barely hanging on. And I'm just starting to see what's actually important. There were a couple people in the comments that, I get stupid comments every day from people. Like when I say something that's clearly in the video and you ask a question that's already answered in the video or in the description, they're mildly annoying. Sometimes they're irritating, but like there were a couple comments where the response that I gave was not justified. Like it's like when someone says, "How you doing?" to someone's wife, and that person goes like, "Talking to my wife," and stabs the person. It's that. It's that. I just need to make it very obvious to all of you. Do not get yourselves romantically involved with a maniacal narcissist, man or woman, whatever you prefer. Because that person will inevitably destroy everything that there is about you. I'll just leave it at that. Christmas was good. Good holiday season. But like most things in my life, good things come in very, very small doses, and they don't last long. I'll just leave it at that. There's nothing going on like my romantic life. There's nothing of importance going on there. I have the same stress financials that I've had for the last year. It's just a big 1-2 right here. Shit going on with family. Boom. Another year without health insurance. Kabam. I make too much money to get any sort of subsidiaries for healthcare coverage or any assistance with paying my healthcare bills. I make too much money to get help, and I don't make enough to be able to afford basic health insurance. Rock hard place. So another year where I can't get basic medical care, and I need to pray that I don't fall and tear my ACL, or I don't need any sort of surgery, or I don't get sick. Like beyond the point where I need antibiotics in order to cure sickness. Like strep throat, I'm done. I'm going to have to rely and pray that my immune system can hold out. And then and then of all the effort, love, and appreciation I showed a family member who I recently, I've told it on the stream before. Brother was this close literally this close to finally escaping the narcissist's web. I woke up last week to messages from 2 of his ex-girlfriends spilling a whole bunch of tea to me. Long story short, he went back to the narcissist, and it's inevitable that he's going to be peace out, bye-bye again. It's inevitable. And this is one of those situations where they fight so much that cops are routinely called. This is one of those situations where one or both of them are going to end up dead or in prison. It's that. It's that situation. And I need to come to terms with the fact that I have very evil thoughts in my head right now. Extremely evil thoughts in my head towards a particular individual. Like evil to the point where if I go through with what I want to do, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Levels of evil thoughts in my head. That is the pressure cooker. That is what's going on in here. That's what's been going on. And I'm sorry, but the planning to schedule times to post videos and deal with people in comment sections telling me I don't know what I'm talking about because I mistakenly call a photography lens a cinema lens, and the bullshit that I deal with running this channel, it's not worth it right now. So that's what's been going on. So without giving too much of the details, it's that. Let's see. Jesse in the chat saying that was trippy. I've spent too many hours cranking up the feedback on delay plugins and making weird noises. Yeah, it's fun to trip like that. Is that mic the Basin? Yes, this is the Basin BMS2. $150, and with a little bit of EQing can sound just as good as a Neumann U87 that costs $7,000 more money. I've dropped it several times. Still works flawlessly. This is awesome. It's eye-opening to see what actually goes on in a mixing session. Now I understand when a band says they finished recording the album, it takes many months before it's released. It's also like release dates. They release many months after that because it just gives them more than enough time. Like, for instance, I mixed an entire 5-song EP in less than a week. And within a month, it was released. So, like, it's not complicated to mix an entire album and have it released in a month. Yeah. So the this song sounds really fucking good, and this is, yeah. Since this is probably never going to be released anywhere, I may put it on my SoundCloud profile, but, you know, let's end on a positive note with this. This is a very short stream tonight, guys. Very, very short. I just wanted to finalize this mix. I mean, this took 3 sessions to do, which is my normal if I'm treating this like, you know, I would treat an actual client. Normally it takes about 3 sessions for me to nail a mix or to nail it to finish it. Easier said than done, but don't go there mentally. Bro, I'm already there, man. You guys got to understand, I grew up being mercilessly bullied taken advantage of and disrespected, and there would be one time a year where I would just snap like that, like Ralphie in the Christmas Story, and I would go ballistic on someone because I kept everything and I let everything go into a pressure cooker. And it doesn't help that society now says that, oh, if men get angry, oh, you clearly are a psychopath, and you need help, or you're being a pussy. Society looks down on healthy brains for men. And it's a shame. But when I see someone who I love doing something very, very stupid, I mean, he's choosing to do this. But he's choosing to do it because he doesn't know any better, and all he knows is this manipulative fucking cunt. This succubus of a demon of a human being. That's all he knows. And I can't help but I can't help with having these very evil thoughts in my head. What's the difference between mixing and mastering? Jesus, what a fucking segue that is. Usually, if I wanted to do this by the book, if I didn't master my own work, mixing is what I've been doing. The mix bus, what I consider the mastering process for me is everything I just did tonight on the mix bus channel. So the SSL bus comp, the vitalizer, the capital mastering compressor, and ozone. That's what I call my mastering process. Normally how it's really done is the mixing engineer gets it to the point where if you release that, it will be acceptable by 99% of people. And you send it off to basically a mastering engineer who, in layman's terms, I know there's going to be some smart-ass piece of shit that tells I, well, actually, but in layman's terms, a mastering engineer takes a mix and they hear it for the first time and they apply either with the stem, so all drum stem, all bass, all guitar, all vocal stems, which is how I personally prefer to work, or they take a stereo mix of everything, so the stereo mix track, and they put it through their own gear to just improve it a little bit more. That's essentially what it is. And it gets it loud enough to be played on the radio. You master it at a different volume for Spotify because Spotify, I think, is like minus 14 LUFS, which is just a unit of measurement for overall volume. If you master louder than minus 14 LUFS, so if you saw it on my VU meter or my frequency analyzer, I master to between minus 12 and minus 10 LUFS. That way, you can put it anywhere, and if it's too loud for that one particular source, that source will just bring down the volume of the track. So Spotify will take this. If I release this on Spotify, Spotify would take this track and just bring down the volume to minus 14 LUFS. It's literally just volume control. It doesn't change the dynamics of the mix. It doesn't change anything except the literal volume. But essentially, mastering is sending, like, if I'm the mixing engineer on something, my ears are exhausted and my ears are done listening to a particular song. Like, if I hear anything, it will be difficult for me to hear any differences unless I take an insane amount of time between sessions. I'm talking like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I bounce down my final mix and I send it off to a mastering engineer. They make it louder. They smooth out the dynamics, and they basically put a little polish on it. That's literally all it is. Okay. Metaphor time. When you take your car to the car wash, and you see it going through the car wash, the soap, the wipers, and all that shit, all that stuff that washes a car, it rinses off. You could take your car, it's clean, you could just take your car and go home. But if you pay the extra, it sprays that clear coat wax and polish on it. And then the people at the end take the car and they spray it with like polish and stuff on it to seal the wash in. That metaphorically is mixing and mastering. That is probably the best way I can describe it. Mastering eludes me. I'm learning to have an ear for mixing, but there's so much subtle stuff going on in mastering. I think most of your mixes sound complete before you put master bus processing on. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if I did this for a client, this is about time frame, how long it would have taken for me to legit do it, which is why it sounded complete at the end of the second stream of doing this. And now I brought it in here tonight to finalize it. And if I played the mix before versus now and I just level match the volume, the one tonight will sound so much more clear, like even, mixed, and ready to go. Like the vocals in this popped out a little bit even more. And it's just literally like repetitive. It's just me. It's just literally being repetitive with this and practicing, which is all it takes. It literally just takes practice and time to do this. It doesn't take long to get decent at this. It takes a solid year of practice to get decent at it. But again, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I already know what to look for. I already know how it's going to sound, and because I played this mix on every source I can, multiple sources, so my new iPhone, which has better speakers than my old iPhone, played it on both of these. I played it, obviously, on the monitors. I played it on my TV right here. I played it on my iPad. I listened to it on my AirPods, which is what most people listen to music on. They mostly listen to earbuds or like AirPods right here. I listened on my big ass headphones. Both my casual listening, like a headphone that most people would buy to like go on planes with or whatever, and my headphones that I always use for front of house. I listen to it in my car because the Mustang is under wraps until late April. I can't listen to it in the Mustang, which has a more mid-range and bassy sound, so I had to rely solely on my Golf GTI speakers. Listen to it on there. And I cheated, and I also have access to a big PA system at the two venues I work at. I didn't listen to this on the Dingbat system, but I listened to it on the Artie system. So I listened to it on multiple sources at various volumes, and I pinpoint the common issues with all the sources I listened on. And what stood out to me consistently was that trippy reggae guitar, that guitar in the verses was too loud. The end lead guitars should have been panned. The ending gain vocals were too loud, and I wanted to add a little bit of sprinkle on that. Those gain vocals at the end of the choruses. Just the first one though, just to give it a little more oomph. If you have a high if you have a high pitched ring, that's called ear damage. And you listen to it way too loud. I non-technically described mastering to a punk singer I know like this. It's like brushing your hair or doing eyeliner just before you leave the house. Sure, you could do it yourself in a mirror, and you might do an okay job in a mirror most of the time, but if you can get someone else to do it for you, it's always going to look better than if you did it yourself. Not necessarily. That's not 100% true all the time. I know plenty of people that master their own work and they don't send it out for mastering. Because a top of the range mastering engineer who is solely known for mastering, they can cost upwards of $800-900 per song. And most of us in our home studios, we don't have that kind of money. So, like for example, there was, and also that mastering engineer might squash the shit out of it to make it louder. I would prefer to have a more dynamic, even mix that's a little lower in volume versus if I squash the shit out of this to be the loudest thing in the world and have it distort like Metallica's Death Magnetic record. That's a perfect example of the loudness wars. Yeah, getting someone else to do it makes a difference because they have fresh ears, especially if they've never listened to the project before. And I've sent my work out for mastering before, and some mastering engineers really put a nice sparkle on it, and I just learned what they did. I watched endless tutorials on how to master your own work and tips and tricks to train your ears to get ready for mastering your own work. I used to fucking suck at mastering my own work. I used to be absolute shit at it. I used to think, put a limiter on, crank it, and you're done. There are two benefits. There are only two real benefits to sending your work out to get mastered by someone else. One, your work is going to get put through possibly much nicer equipment than what you have, because mastering engineers, like a real pro, has a lot of true analog mastering gear to put your song through and to get it sounding that extra nice saturation through analog gear. And two, a fresh pair of ears are listening to your mix, and they can immediately pinpoint what needs to be corrected. They can even give you notes where you can adjust your mix, or they may ask you for stems. So like drum stem, bass stem, guitar, vocal, keys, etc. And then they can put it in a session and master that, which is how I personally prefer to do it. Because there have been a lot of times where a band hired me to master their work, and they sent me a stereo mix, and I'm like, the bass guitar is way too fucking loud with this. There's nothing I could do with this. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. And they inevitably fired me. So I'm like, okay, just give me stems. That's how I personally like to work. But hello, Diane. Truth be told, Diane, I'm not doing good. It's just I had some time before I got into another project I need to finish tonight, so I'm taking just a couple more minutes here for a very quick stream. Yeah, I mean, but again, like, if you learn how to master your own work, it will sound great. And if you practice at it, it'll sound great. The only thing you need to determine is listen to your mix or your master or whatever on as many sources as possible, at as many different volumes as possible. Does it sound good 95% of the time? You're done. That's how I do it. I'm not looking for frequency analyzers or like hearing if something, like if I can hear 2.6K in this speaker system here, I need to remaster the whole thing just so it sounds good there. No. I love my monitors for this very reason. The Yamaha HS80Ms. This is before they reissued them as the HS8s, which I think they have different drivers in or whatever. But I have the HS80Ms. These monitors I've had for, Jesus, I'd say like 10 years now. And they're lie detector monitors. Meaning that once I got a nice frequency response in here with the Arc Studio, if these monitors purposely don't sound as mind-blowing as other monitors, like Focals or whatever, which means it basically, in layman's terms, if you can get a mix sounding good on these monitors, chances are they're going to sound great everywhere. And that's been the story of my mixes on this. It literally just came down to my own personal skills and how I work. So they sound good on this, right? Next thing I do is I immediately play it on the phone. Can I hear the bass? Can I hear everything on this? Yes. Okay. Listen on earbuds and headphones. Then I listen in the car. And I just double, triple, quadruple check for everything. And then I make notes. Are there anything that's consistently sticking out or not being heard enough that's throwing it off to me? And as you've well established, the plugins of most of the analog gear sound the same anyway, so you might as well do it yourself. Yes and no. Can I get the digital equivalent of an 1176 to sound as good as the real thing? Yes. There's a lot more fine-tuning that you got to do, but you can. The only two really real big differences between the analog stuff and the digital stuff is if you want the analog saturation from a preamp, so like if you put this through a real 1073 Neve and you crank the pre and it distorts and it still sounds great, that's literal analog circuitry. You cannot replicate that in digital form. You just can't do it. So that's one. And two, and it also depends on your computer, but the latency. Digital plugins introduce latency, and the more you add, the more latency and potential phase issues that happen with that. So you got to balance what plugins that you need versus what plugins you want versus how the latency is going to affect your sound. With real analog gear, zero issues. Those are the only two differences that should be. Those are the only two real, like, considerable. I can't talk. Those are the only two real differences. Like, big differences. And those are the only two thought processes you need to go in if you want to start investing in analog gear. And is that investment worth $20,000, $30,000 over time? That's up for you to decide. For me, I'm perfectly happy being in the box. I'm perfectly happy being exclusively in the box and never having a piece of analog gear. For one, look at the size of my plates. It's not that big. And if I were to start collecting analog gear, I just don't have the room for it. And two, I'm fucking broke. I can't afford analog gear. especially if I don't have health insurance now and I need to save up for whatever. If I need to go to if I need to go to like a care center or whatever, urgent care or whatever. So I have no plans on buying analog gear in the near future. So, all right. My ears are fresh now. Let's take a listen to this one more time. I'll answer a couple things in the chat, and then we'll call it a night. Very, very quick stream tonight, guys. Let's take a listen one more time before we wrap everything up. So, again, let's go through it one more time. Kick was recorded with a EVPL 33, which I added a sample to it. Kick bus. Snare top. Only had a real snare top mic. I didn't record the bottom of the snare. That was with an SM57. Snare bottom and snare sample. I used two different samples, and I combined that into a snare bus. Rack and floor toms were SM57s. Overheads were Behringer B2s. The guitars were SM57s. And the vocal was the AKG 214. So literally the most expensive mic in this whole entire arsenal here that we used was $300. Maybe, if anything. I got mine used for $200, so that's the most expensive mic that we used. And we got these results. And they were recorded in a fucking basement. In a tiny ass 11-foot by 8-foot little room in the drummer's basement. Using nothing but foam and egg crate material on the wall. And we get this.
This town ain't big enough to get exactly what you want. My feelings are, but my skin's so cold.
if this shows you guys anything, if you take if you take anything from this, never mind my mixing or the skills or whatever. It's obvious if you want to get good at mixing and get good results, yes, you need to get good at mixing. But above all else, if you want to sit there and believe the people who say you can only get professional sounds in a high-end studio where you use $20,000 preamps, microphones that cost more than your car, going into an SSL console that costs the same as your house. If you want to believe the people that say you can only get great results if you go through that, they're full of fucking shit. This song was recorded in a fucking basement with mostly SM57s, with instruments that are not anywhere near as pricey as you think they are. It comes down to the band. It comes down to the skills of the band, the source. It comes down to the song arrangement itself. And then it comes down to these, my ears. I would put this mix against just about anything on the modern rock scene. It sounds natural. It sounds like humans played it. And it has that raw rock feel. Jesse T. It would be cool to get to work with all that gear. I guess that's more Zacky's wheelhouse. I mean, of course it's cool to work with analog gear. I love pushing buttons and turning knobs. That's cool. But as far as like a sonic difference, I'm not going to say there isn't a difference, but what I am going to say is the difference is absolutely not this wide of a difference. It's more so this difference. And if you want to spend over 6 figures for that little difference, be my guest. You're free to use however money you want. But I'm willing to bet that if I put this song and these stems through all of Zacky's analog equipment, I'd get similar or exactly the same results. That's just my 2 cents. Yeah, we're done here tonight, guys. Very, very quick. I have a couple things I need to get behind that. I haven't really... Unfortunately, not all modern albums are mixed well. Example, Death Magnetic. Again, I mean, yeah, you're literally just proving my point. You are proving my philosophical point here. There's modern music out there. Like, okay, she's a fucking dumb retard, but Billie Eilish recorded her entire album with a microphone in Logic Pro and with MIDI keyboards. And she tours in stadiums. Did she really need $100,000 worth of analog gear to produce her album? Do you think her album would have sounded infinitely better if she went through $1 million worth of analog gear? No. Not at all. The source and the song matter more than anything. And it comes down to the talent that's playing. Unfortunately, for Death Magnetic, Lars wanted his kick drum to be louder than every fucking thing on earth. And that's just bad mixing decisions. But then again, it's fucking Metallica. So what do I know? David Hodges just wanted to hop on and say hi. Hope you're doing all right. I'm not doing all right. Mentally, I'm not doing all right. But this is a good distraction. So yeah. I really, what drives me crazy and drives me absolute batshit insane in this world of pro audio, it's not anything else that, like, dumb questions that people ask me. It is literally the people that will go, unless you're recording on a Neumann U87 going through a $50,000 Neve system and you're recording in the most pristine rooms, your music's going to sound like shit. And you that couldn't be further from the truth. You can get amazing results in your fucking basement, in your attic. You can get amazing results. Like, fuck, I just recorded a couple weeks ago, a month ago at this point, I recorded the new Scarlet King record. 4 songs. We did the drums, guitar, and bass in the drummer's attic. We turned that into a makeshift drum room. And it sounds fucking awesome. Like, the record sounds amazing. Should be coming out soon. I'm just about done mastering it and going through everything. But it'll be coming out soon. And it sounds fucking gnarly. It was recorded in a fucking attic. So the people that say, like, you can only get good results in, like, highly expensive gear, full of shit. So, all right, guys. That was part 3 and the final part of mixing my magnum opus, aka the best song I produced, aka the song's called Killer, by the band Morningside Lane, who broke up years ago. And that was all recorded in the basement of the drummer using a Behringer UFX1604 interface and SM57s. And it sounds fucking awesome. Thanks for watching. And I don't know when watching you mix live shows is absolutely proof that you don't need $1 million worth of gear. The talent is key. Talent of the band. I have the same exact mix process for all my shows. A really good band on stage will sound better than a shit band because the really good band knows how to play their instruments and they have them in tune and they know how to play right. Briston Maroney recorded Freaking Out on the interstate in a bedroom with SM57s and has almost 300 million views. It's like you said, all about the source and talent. Actually, I've never heard of that. Hold on, let me... Freaking Out on the interstate. All right. Oh, that's the acoustic version. Oh no, that's the studio version. Okay. I'm going to get copyright tagged, but I don't care.
If we can, I won't be satisfied.
That sounds awesome. Like, yeah. Talent is more important than fucking gear. Again, like it's literally the most simplistic thing to understand. But unfortunately, a lot of people turn into retards and they believe the gear snobs and believe that bullshit. Like, there was an asshole that I deleted his comment because he was turning into hitting me with personal attacks. But there was a guy that comments on the last Mixdown Meltdown video. The name of the episode is This Church Spared No Expense. And it's because I made a joke quoting John Hammond from Jurassic Park when talking about all the Blackmagic 4K cine cameras that they had around there. I made the joke saying, you guys spared no expense. So I named the episode that. And this guy doesn't understand humor, but he commented and was like, says the church spared no expense, mixes on an X32. And I'm like, so? And the guy's like, you obviously don't know what he's like, you obviously don't know what high-end gear is. And you have a clickbait title because you don't know what you're talking about. And you should practice more. And I'm like, okay. I didn't even respond to him. I just deleted his comment. No, I'm sorry. I told him to go fuck himself. Then I deleted his comment and muted him. So, yeah. You have no patience for gear snobs. And you shouldn't either. So, thanks everyone for watching. I don't know when I'm going to post my next video. If I do, I don't know when I'm going to go live again. Most likely tomorrow night. Because we have the Bakersfield Band coming to Artie's tomorrow night. So, live front of house stream tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Good night.